So, welcome back to the Effin' Movie Podcast. If you were wondering what all the sodium is in this whole room right now,
A lot of salt.
it's a lot of salt.
Come on over, Mason.
So, we had just got done recording our review of Brothers, and for movie review month, where everybody picks their favorite movie that they think I would love, and we had some technical difficulties.
Yep.
The whole video's gone. That's what he means by difficulties.
Well, the video's there, the audio's not.
we could put that on the channel. It's just us like waving, punching Mason.
Oh, we could do that in like a little corner.
Yeah.
And speed it up like times two.
So if you wanna, what we'll do, I guess we'll just upload the footage we had so you can see all the energy that we had during this.
Boy, was there energy.
If you want to see why we look so tired right now, trust us.
There was energy.
It was a great video. Sorry, Nathan.
Nathan, tell us the quick summary of this movie, real quick. Brothers.
So we're gonna be
condense it even more now, though.
Okay. Brothers, the tale of Tobey Maguire and Jake Gyllenhaal.
They are brothers.
They are brothers. And boy, do they insist that they're brothers.
They will tell you that a bunch of times
They'll
through
tell
this
you
movie.
a lot.
Yeah.
This movie is, you would say it's mostly about PTSD. It is about Toby and his family. And he, early on, is captured while he's in Afghanistan. His helicopter goes down. And a lot of this movie takes place in the couple of months in which he is a prisoner.
Presumed dead.
And has been presumed dead. That is important. He's been presumed dead. His brother is Jake Gyllenhaal. His brother just recently got out of jail and was picked up by Toby shortly before he was actually leaving to go to Afghanistan when he gets caught. So in the absence of Toby and the presumed death of him, Jake kind of has this big turning around, and like redoes the kitchen for his sister-in-law, and over time they start, Natalie Portman, the sister-in-law, they start to kind of have this bond that builds, even though she hated him up until this point, and they end up kissing. And it doesn't really seem to go much further than that.
Because it doesn't.
Because it actually doesn't. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, Toby is being forced to...
Sorry, that's me.
Yeah,
We dressed up for this.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. Yeah, we're dressed up and we're also in a bunker.
In a torture chamber.
We're in a bunker.
We're in a bunker.
In
that's right.
the Middle
And
East.
apparently I'm Natalie Portman, and this is Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's Jake.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
They didn't get the memo till late.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot my implants at home.
But yeah, so Toby is forced to beat the other captor.
They're perfect.
With a pipe to death, or he would get killed. Shortly thereafter, he's rescued.
Which I do like that the people, the
you don't like
terrorists
anything.
don't like. They're like, we're gonna live up to our word. We're not gonna kill you because you did what we said. Like, they don't have to.
Oh,
Yeah,
they
kill him.
like, but like handsome-looking terrorist man definitely was trying to kill Toby whenever the Americans were storming, because he was like literally shooting
shooting at
down
him?
into the cave at him.
Yeah.
Was that the handsome? I thought
No.
that was the interpreter.
That was the interpreter.
It was
that
the interpreter.
yeah.
He was like the bot, or he was like the
Nathan messing up the movie. Come on.
Nathan's like, I was doing laundry during the review. It's okay.
So-
Which you would have caught everything.
Okay,
Which
so
I'll talk about
we
here in a
roll
minute.
on. Toby's been found. He's back with his family. He is real messed up.
Real messed up.
And is convinced that his brother slept with Natalie Portman. Which his brother doesn't ever openly deny, which is very weird and frustrating, because, like, why the hell would he not just say, no, I didn't sleep with her? But anyway, that's how this plot moves forward.
Instead of telling him when Toby asks him if he sleep together, he chooses instead to reiterate the fact that they're brothers.
Oh. Yeah, we're brothers. We're
Yeah.
brothers. What?
They forgot.
I wouldn't do that. We're brothers. Yeah. So anyway, it's just at that point the like breaking down of his family as his daughters don't like him. Natalie Portman is afraid of him.
Jake Gyllenhaal loves him still.
Jake still likes him
Hey.
and is like trying to like just still be his brother.
Yeah.
Which I think I didn't mention this in our previous video about this, but I mean I The one time I do feel the most love between the brothers, funnily enough, is when Jake brings that girl over to the house. Because I don't feel like there's a connection really between the two because they just met, but he's doing it just to assuage Tobey Maguire that hey, I'm not pounding Natalie Portman. Look at this piece I got right here. Like
Maybe that was it.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
No, that's definitely what it was. That's why he did it.
But
So,
even still
100%.
with that, it's like,
But at least
why
he's
not just
trying.
tell him that you're not? the
Because he
baby?
can't. Because they're brothers.
He's fighting
They're
every
brothers.
way except for telling him.
Yeah,
no.
except for just actually telling.
Yeah. It's like, how do I say it?
This story ultimately ends with Toby just absolutely losing it, destroying the kitchen that his brother remodeled
was
for
a
Natalie
nice-looking
Portman.
kitchen, too.
It was a very nice looking kitchen.
Good-looking kitchen.
And being just out on his lawn, shooting a gun in the air while there's cops, aiming
Guns
down
drawn.
on him.
So anyway, I started blasting.
Yeah.
So anyway.
And yeah, it's ultimately over with Toby in a mental hospital, in a mental institution, and Natalie Portman is coming to visit him and is I'm not going to do this again if you can't tell me what happened. And that's when he finally admits that he killed one of his friends out there in order to survive, to get back to them. And in his mind, everything is just ruined. From the get-go, once he gets back stateside, he's just this is
I mean, he can't even wait to get shipped out
he
again.
Died.
He
wanted to leave again because basically he's dead in
At
that
home.
world.
Right.
He's
At
dead at
home,
home.
he died and everybody moved on. And then he came back in, and it was clear that everybody had moved on.
Tobey Maguire is one of those people in the basement of Inception. He's just I don't want to live in this world. I just want to go dream. But the dream is Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So
there's more guns in that place.
yeah, he was
I guess.
I just want to live in the Matrix and live my life there.
You're comparing this movie to Inception?
Yeah, it's that good. So,
No, it's not.
Here's my thing.
Wait, Mason didn't say why you like this movie. Because
Oh yeah, okay. So I'm supposed to say
Mom makes it.
I'm supposed to say why I picked this movie for Dylan because we are trying to impress Dylan with these picks, a movie that he has never seen.
Sure.
So the reason why I picked this movie, if you see Price chomping at the bit,
I am.
it's because I think that this movie has the darkness and not necessarily the complexity, but just the tone of a movie called Prisoners, because I don't know. It leaves you on the same note. It doesn't leave you on a movie like Warrior as much, but I don't know. I just thought it was dark, and you don't come away with it the same way like you do Warrior.
I'm throwing the flag down.
Penalty.
Wee woo. Okay, so the first time that Mason said this in the last video, he didn't say all that to lead up to it. He just said, this movie is like Prisoners.
Is Price sounding
And
like an asshole yet? Because it's coming.
Because Prisoners, all the cast is doing something in that movie. All of them. Hugh Jackman crushes it. Jake Gyllenhaal crushes it. I forgot first Iron Man, whatever his name is, the black guy. He's good in that.
Terrence Howard?
Terrence Howard.
First War Machine.
Yeah,
War Machine.
Yeah.
Good
Iron
grief.
Man is Robert
definitely
Downey
not
Jr.
Iron Man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
There's only Robert Downey Jr., but go on.
that's beside the point. But I just feel like you can't compare these two movies because they're doing something totally different. If I was going to compare it to any, which, wait for it, you haven't heard this one before, it's a lot more like Warrior, which is a movie. That's why I thought Mason picked Brothers, is because Brothers is I feel beat for beat like Warrior, but not near as good. And that's I see the comparison a lot more between those two. I get that they're both dark, I guess, but I mean, I would say Prisoners ends on a more hopeful note than this.
And as I've said before, I think Warriors is a more accurate thing to line it up with, but in Warriors,
Just
it does.
Warrior.
It's yeah, sorry.
You'll get the
Warrior.
bottle finger people in
It's
here.
about two brothers,
The what?
and it's about
The
the relationship.
Oh.
It's about the relationship of two brothers
Right.
and how it's more about their relationship. Whereas
intertwining.
this one, the relationship's there and it's kind of pushing it and reminding you, but it is so much just two separate stories about a family. Less about that brotherly bond kind of thing. I feel like,
But I think they're trying to go for that brotherly
They
bond.
are, but
heck, the
they're not
movie's
selling
called
it.
Brothers.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
what
but
they're going for. They
but
just do a
they're
poor job of it.
but
That's
they're
what
on
they're aiming
opposite
for.
sides of the globe, though.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter.
But
like
love transcends time and space. Check out Interstellar. And
it's love, bro.
So, but yeah, all to that point, yeah, it doesn't. Like, to me, I watched the movie and I'm like, this is a movie about living with somebody and being in relationships, whether it's brother or wife or son or daughter or what have you, with somebody who has PTSD. But then the movie's called Brothers, which makes sense. That pays over to the military part as well. There's always the military brothers part, and I'm like, okay, that title makes sense. But then it's like, all right, we want to have a PTSD movie as the main plot point, but we're also going to have this other main plot point with Jake Gyllenhaal. What are we going to do with him? Do you want to have him sleep with the wife? No. That seems pretty unfair to... Yeah, okay. Well,
that doesn't translate.
Yeah. Do you think they should at least kiss? Yeah. All right. How about Tobey Maguire? Is he ever going to find... No. They're just... Don't let him know. Okay.
In fact, have one of his daughters tell him that they were having sex all the time.
Yeah,
all
everywhere,
the time.
all over the house.
They were doing it all the time, and I was recording it, and I loved it.
This is the one takeaway from this video. You did that very well. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
That was good. You got into the writer's eyes on that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I'm really getting the psychology of this film. I might change my score. The more I like it, I'm getting.
No, you won't. I remember what you gave it. The only one who's allowed to change is him.
Should they have sex? Nah, I don't think so. That's probably a little much.
That probably pushes the line a little too far with it. Man. Hey, what do you guys think about this set? I think the kitchen's a little weird. We got 20 minutes to spare. You want to make that a plot point?
Yeah.
Let's just make him redo the kitchen. That's how he wins her over. Wait, why is he winning her over? Because he's going to be the new dad. Why is he going to be the new dad? Isn't Toby coming back? Well, we already shot those scenes, Bill. We can't unshoot them. We'll figure it out. Just bring Toby back.
Let's keep rolling.
Hey,
Yeah.
Well, Toby can break the kitchen, guys. It'll be okay. Anyway, so that's our long run on that one.
All right, so let's go back to the fact that, like, when the girl yells out about, like, they're banging all the time, they're banging on the table, they're banging under the table, like,
They're banging in her turkey food.
like, they don't know how to have these, like, climax moments without a dinner table being present in the room.
Yeah.
Like, this
it's fine 'cause
has
they
to
bring them all
be there.
together.
They can be together in other circumstances besides, like, oh, we're eating together, like, you know something's gonna happen.
So
It's like,
I wonder if maybe they
so
think that's
dumb.
where a lot of like
Shit
the
happens.
family dynamic happens.
Yeah.
Because
And
that's
to
like
be fair,
everybody
that
gets
is
together
like
at a
a
table
modern
and-
family thing. Like,
Sure.
I'm not upset by that because, again, they want it to feel as normal as possible, and there's not a lot
In
of
Donnie
times.
Darko, that's what happens.
Yeah.
They're at the freaking dinner table.
Hey, isn't
what?
Jake Gyllenhaal in that
That's
movie?
one
And it's
conversation, though.
a funny,
Right.
It's a
Exactly.
funny
But-
Freaks and
conversation.
geeks, like, I mean, it's
If-
done all over
Right.
the place.
Again, but you do it one time, not have the dinner
twice,
table.
Price, twice.
But
they did it.
it took up like 30 minutes, and both of those like
fine.
situations were pivotal to the movie.
So, okay, yeah, is it one more time than they should have done it? Yeah, probably. Like, they could have set it... I mean, really, most other
But they're-
places.
I mean, they're good moments, you know. I mean, the second one,
I
the
don't
second one
agree.
is anyway.
I see it as
like, the first
ham-fisted,
one-
and they can't think of anything else to do. Just like with the music montages or whatever, it's like the thing I hate about movies, how like the director's like, you're supposed to be feeling this right now.
So,
Feel this.
all right, in the second one, Jake Gyllenhaal brings in this girl whom he met just an hour ago, just so that he has somebody there to try and convince Toby that he is not after Natalie Portman.
Look, I'm banging multiple girls, Toby.
and look at her pick of the crop.
My thing with that character, the more I think about it, is she there to be the audience? Do you think to make you feel like on the edge of your seat, like a little cringy, a little like unnerved,
well
like
might
what's
be.
about to happen, and this poor woman who met Jake Gyllenhaal just an hour
I
ago
had no idea what she
is
was
about to
walking
just
into.
be in like just the most ridiculous situation.
I have actually never put any thought into it between this video and like prior to us recording. Price was talking about, you know, just the fact that she was a body. You know, she was to show Tobey Maguire that I'm not after your
That's
wife.
all she was there
This-
for.
Yeah.
But
I firmly
but
stand by
all of
that.
this also makes sense. So it all kind of checks out.
I
Like,
think
don't-
that's doing.
Price just doesn't
high
want to
school-
give this movie
That's
any
just
extra
doing high
credit.
school.
That's the
yeah.
point.
That's just doing like high school English, like looking too much into something.
Well,
that's
let's not be
that's
petty
not
now,
there.
Price.
It's
Evidently,
not.
there's not enough to look
It's
into. So
not.
what do you want?
There's
So-
nothing to look into in this movie. Which, like, let me get this point out first.
Okay.
You've gotten
Because-
every point out.
Again, no, because
Twice now.
again, I love the fact I get to say this again. But like the main thing I hate about this movie, I hated it in last video, and I hated it in this video, is that like there's nothing going on. Like again, as I said earlier, like I could go out and walk Caesar as long as I can still hear
That's his dog.
the movie, or I could go and do like make a meal or something. Like I could just listen to this movie and be fine. Like I don't have to watch anything on screen. There's nothing that engaging on screen going on. Like there's nothing to stimulate me more than just like the auditory.
Are you saying
sense.
you're a bit of a visual person whenever it comes to movies?
Don't you? No.
Oh!
No. What
Get him, Nathan.
What did I say my most forgettable movie was? Crimson Peak or whatever. And that was like a good looking movie, but
He was too busy eating chicken nuggets.
Yeah, he must have been making
chicken
dinner
nuggets
at
and
that time.
peas.
Yeah,
Nuggies and peas.
I think
Nuggies
with the
and
cast
peas.
like this, like I couldn't take my eyes off it. Like I don't know why. I just thought that. I
But-
thought all of them were doing pretty
Okay,
well.
but like translate, like get Tobey Maguire's mannerisms, his like get his whole person, but take his body out of it and put in just a random person. That's like then it's not going to be engaging for you at all because they don't do anything. Like it's not Jake Gyllenhaal
you
acting.
can't physically do
anything.
that. It's not possible.
That's oh my. That's
So-
not the point.
All right.
It's not making as much sense as Price is yet.
No,
or
because
ready to keep
I'm saying
going.
that like you're just looking at them for the person that they are. Like this is Tobey Maguire, this is Jake Gyllenhaal. You're not looking at it as like this is military brother, this is like jail brother. Like you're looking as a celebrity, not as the character.
So I want to touch back a point that we made on our previous video when we were hitting all of our segments on point was that
we were a little bit more ratio.
we actually had an organized video the first time around. This time it was just organized chaos.
Mania.
So when we did our fat, thin, or perfectly fit segment,
Oh, Dylan's been wanting to say this one again.
Please don't.
so if you
don't-
haven't
you
ever
don't have
watched
to.
these segments,
No.
Here's the softball.
no. All right, if you
Here comes Dylan.
I'm not gonna say it for like a fifth time today because they'll hate it. But this is, I think, the first movie we've, or at least me and Nathan have mostly agreed. Even
Well,
you to a certain
I
point.
think Price even
First.
agreed with
No,
Yeah.
I agreed with it. I don't know about first.
It might be. It's the first one I
It's
can
the
think of
first
that's
time we've
perfectly
said this.
thin.
first time we've said it, but
Yeah.
like
I
Yeah,
mean,
so
I'm gonna think about that.
we basically came to the conclusion, everybody except for Mason on this,
Yeah.
that we would call this perfectly thin, which is to say that even though we don't want this movie to be any longer, we wanted more out of it. Which is basically to say that we wanted the scenes to be different and more engaging.
Something
I guess.
else.
Yeah, there was a lot being said for perfectly thin.
Yeah.
It's a real roundabout way of saying we wanted a different movie from this movie.
I guess.
We
Maybe
want
with the same
Yeah.
cast or
Like,
different cast? I
at
don't know.
least
Different
most of this
cast.
cast can stay.
Yeah.
Toby needs to go. Like,
Yeah, like, and that's,
Toby was a big problem for
that's the
3/4 of
thing
this
too,
table.
is like, Toby is too small and scrawny to feel properly intimidating as like the person who has PTSD
Now-
and who is going through all of this stuff.
On the counterpoint of that, we did mention before, we would have thought somebody like Tom Hardy would have been great for it, but I also do value the point that not every military person, most military people, is
built.
not like a built monster, right?
Like, think
that
of your,
wouldn't
think
be
of
on-
your high
right.
school JROTC people. That is what
That-
Tobey
that's
Maguire
what he looked like.
is.
Yeah.
I'll
like,
give you that.
haircut,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Completely buzzed, a
I-
little bit on top, chiseled chin, completely shit. You don't have any characteristics
Right.
as someone in the military.
But what if you had like Tom Hardy shirtless with his traps from Warrior with like tearing up the kitchen?
So,
That would have been awesome.
all right,
I've
but
already
Well,
seen
at
Warrior.
that point
Yeah.
too, you would like the whole time you kind of feel like Jake is definitely stronger.
Yeah.
yeah.
So like he's
I'm like,
a
I think
bigger
I can
presence.
take. I think
So
you can
that
just
moment
take it.
where like where Toby's destroying the kitchen, had that been Tom Hardy instead, and Jake would have been coming up there to like,
Oh,
it's like,
he wouldn't have
no,
stood a chance.
like no way. That
Let him
Tom
fuck
Hardy's
up the
gonna-
bathroom next. Just let him do it.
Just let him keep going. Just get the hell out of the house.
Jake
Save
Gyllenhaal
Natalie
walks
Portman and
in.
the kids.
Like
Walks
John
right
Travolta,
out.
like
Yeah.
opens the door, it's like,
Yeah.
then walks back out.
We need a SWAT team
Right.
pronto.
Now, I think for that point, thinking back, that casting somebody with a frame like Toby, I think is appropriate. Like, you know, I think that's more a realistic thing, because I think for
Nah,
parts,
no fun.
parts of it, they were going for realism. And other for that one scene, there's no purpose for him to be physically intimidating. And
What was that other scene?
the
bat?
The kitchen.
Oh, the kitchen
scene,
Gyllenhaal.
the
The
kitchen
kitchen
right.
scene, you could also say the lead pipe
Yeah,
scene.
the scene where he kills the guy or whatever. Like, those are the only two scenes where it might be a little bit more credible to have somebody who's like a jacked bulk dude. For the rest of the movie, he needs to play as like a traumatized human being still.
Unfortunately, I agree.
Right. So,
It's the first time I've heard that.
Nothing out of you. Nothing out of you until your score.
so
We're gonna find you.
anyways, let's do a quick run of our scores, guys.
Let's do it. Same order.
I thought we
Same.
had more.
So I'm done.
Mason was done
I'm
45 minutes ago.
God, we did a 50-minute podcast earlier about the same shit.
So as much as I enjoy the conversation around this movie, and I really do enjoy the conversation around this movie,
He will bring it up at Thanksgiving. That's what
I
he used to
do,
say.
yeah.
Around the dinner table.
I'm never eating dinner.
There has
at
to be a
the
dinner table. And
Yeah.
somebody has to suplex somebody else into the dinner table. Like, this is just what happens here.
This movie ultimately is just not really my cup of tea. As Price was saying, actually, because it's a movie that you don't really have to pay a lot of attention to, I'm really pretty visual with movies, and this one just didn't really have a lot to keep me engaged.
We're going to be seeing a lot of beautiful movies once it's his month.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Nothing but visual arts movies.
Post-apocalyptic,
Yeah.
colors, costumes.
Yeah.
So excited.
And they have to be before the year 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be.
Darn, I was going to pick Little Women.
No.
The pageantry.
So, my score for this one lands at a 4.5. I wish I could give it more, but it's
I wish you
not
could
really.
give it
It's
less.
not really there for me. So
I wish you
that's
could give it more.
Price. Make it snappy. We know you don't like it.
I don't like it.
All right.
Rip the Band-Aid
And we
off.
know why you don't like it, so give us the score.
I can't remember. You've heard everything else about why I don't like it. I'm not going to say it again. And this hand's like, when I do this, it's like, it gets
Yeah.
cut off.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There's nothing there.
So I was waffling between a 2.5 and a 3, and I'll say it again, and you all can come back at me again. I'm ready for it.
We will.
So I was like, do I give it a 2.5? But that's getting dangerously close to like Excalibur and Repo territory.
How do you compare it to Excalibur? Excalibur's a 5-hour movie.
Here we go. I'm gonna come right back in.
Yeah.
So,
Plead your
like,
case.
I'm saying it again. Like, I have like the terrible movies like Excalibur and Repo. There's like middle terrible, middle of the road, middle decent, and then like my top like 10 out of 10 or whatever. So like, to get it, like, it's either going to be here or it's going to be at the very low with Repo and Excalibur.
About that.
And I bump
5-point
it.
scale for bad movies. Anything up more
It's
than
my
that?
turn.
Yeah.
My turn.
We've already heard it. Go
No, we
ahead.
know.
You didn't tell them. Don't
Yeah,
tell us.
tell the fans. We know it. We know what you're saying.
So I bumped it up to a 3 just because of the runtime. The fact that like it just doesn't stick around forever and make me like try to die and text all of them saying like, please end my life somehow over text. So I
What's the
don't have to
quickest way to
finish
get
this
bleached
text.
through my system and make air not come out of my
So I
lungs?
bumped it up to a 3 just because the runtime is not. But I mean, that's still not a good score, which this isn't a good movie. Which Mason's gonna like.
Yeah,
Say
so
the
Alright, here we
opposite.
go.
So
Here we go,
for the
LeBron. Hit that 3.
so for me,
Go ahead.
if you guys have ever swung at a baseball and not hit it at all, spun around, fell flat on your butt, and gotten laughed at by everyone, that's basically what I did with this pitch.
Sweet.
I give it a 9. I thought for sure this was going to be a killer movie with probably everyone.
So Mason like did that spin with the bat and fell, and then he got up. Everybody was laughing at him, and he just did this. He's like, I'm not gonna listen to anybody.
Twice. This is the second time.
But he's not listening to our opinions. He's just
No.
like, it's a
He's like,
nine.
I don't
get
want
it.
it.
I
It's
get
a
it.
nine.
And I feel like Tobey Maguire's, yeah, he's not very intimidating until he has a lead fucking pipe and
Yeah.
he's tearing apart a kitchen and he's pointing a gun
I'll
at
give a bat to a kitten, and like
No, you
it'll be
won't.
like, man,
Bet you won't.
that's kind of
I
intimidating.
bet you won't.
It's got a lead pipe, but it's a kitten, but it's got a pipe.
No, I don't know. I've seen this movie countless times, probably 6, 7 times. That's not countless.
That's
But
like 8 times too many.
Don't laugh. Don't laugh. That was an awful one.
Yes,
That was
encourage
bad.
me.
That was bad.
It's just so bad.
Thrive on it.
Yeah, I have nothing more to say other than I told them earlier. The casting originally was supposed to be Jake Gyllenhaal as Sam Cahill, which was the military dude,
Tobey Maguire.
and Tobey Maguire as the armed robbery brother.
Yeah.
And the director himself said this is not working, and then he flipped them immediately. So
Because
if
the
you guys-
director's dumb based on every other decision he's made in this movie.
It's like you haven't listened to
including
anyone.
this one. No, I have. I've listened to everyone.
All right.
Even you, unfortunately.
All right,
So,
Go bend your camouflage and just.
Dylan's the one that this thing was aimed at.
Yeah.
Let's see what he thinks.
Oh, Dylan's an important one. So he's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
His
this is the
opinion
one that
matters the
matters.
most.
here's my big brain one for free. This is a 6.5.
Should be.
I said in my thing earlier, and so I'm just repeating myself. It's fine. Technical difficulties. This movie, I was like totally not for it for like the first half of the movie, and then Toby gets caught in Iraq, and then they start doing the terrorizing, and then he comes back and he has the PTSD. And I got really engaged in that part. I was like, okay, this is actually pretty cool. But Toby just never sells me. And for that kind of being the main part, it just really drops the movie down a lot for me. I think I had a lot of potential to push that forward, but then there's just some really silly stuff that happens. Like, again, Jake Gyllenhaal not telling Tobey Maguire that he didn't sleep with his wife, that the daughters are terrible. And, actually, the more I think about it, the more I sympathize with Tobey Maguire in this movie, because I wouldn't want to live with his daughters either. No. They're terrible.
That one is a treasure.
That
the
one,
funny one?
That one cute one.
The one who made the elephant joke.
Everybody loves that daughter.
Yeah. The elephant joke? That was amazing.
Yeah.
I thought that was so funny.
So, thinking back on it, all right, so Tobey Maguire has one daughter he loves and one daughter who's terrible.
Who needs to be punted out the window.
Yeah, because she was just like, oh, yeah, Uncle Tommy and Mom were sleeping around all the time and doing all of that. And I'm like, yeah, I probably would go to Afghanistan, too, if that was my family. Like,
You said it right earlier.
Yeah.
He is dead back home.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
He has been dead, and he can't just come back. Send me back to Afghanistan, Captain.
That's not where his life is.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, and that's tough. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel that, and I think that and this is why that perfectly thin thing lands for me, because I'm like, I would love to see more of just that. Honestly, I think if you take the Jake Gyllenhaal part of the element of the movie, which is strange, because that's like the parts where I felt engaged. I wouldn't say all the way out. Tune it down. But, and then add more of like, I mean, if you're going to have Jake Gyllenhaal...
Tobey Maguire?
Strangely, that's my suggestion. Well, I think the character's part is good, but not as the actor for the character.
Okay.
Like, I think that storyline is the most important storyline, and that's the part that you should explore the most. I wish they did do more exploration with that and his interactions and doing all that, but they made it a 50-50 movie, and I was like, well...
It wasn't even 50-50.
I know, it was
like a lot. Like, there was
35,
a couple of scenes.
Yeah, 35, 65 or something like that. Yeah. Right. So it's... They took what I thought was going to be the most interesting and important part, and then split it, and then gave that part less time, and then gave more of the drama around it more time. And I just, it just didn't land for me the way I would have liked it. I definitely like that parts of these movies could have been pushed more into it, and it has potential, so I still give it a 6.5 for that reason, but it just didn't sell it for me all the way through. So anyway.
Before you're talking about the Tobey Maguire thing, and I'm going to say it again, just because I think I need to, if I gave it a 3, is that, again, about Tobey Maguire, I thought he did so bad in this movie. Most movies, actually, Tobey Maguire acting I don't buy in most any movie because, again...
He kills it in Spider-Man 1 and 2, though.
But in this movie, he's either, a wet rag or he's, going off the handle. There's nothing in between. And as I said before, I've said that a lot, but, just like in Marriage Story, how they have that over-the-top acting scene where they blow up on each other in there, and it's just, they're, in acting class or something. It's, their first class in acting class. He just doesn't know how to balance and have a nuanced performance, which, I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal excels in that, and he didn't even get to do that in this movie. He has that potential because I've seen him do it elsewhere. Tobey Maguire, no, I haven't. He's never done anything that impresses me, acting wise. Even in Spider-Man, he is not the highlight of that movie.
He hasn't had an incredible role.
No, there's nothing that really sticks.
It's like Topher Grace. You don't really expect him to.
They're actually pretty interchangeable. I forget that.
They really are. Yeah. What about him?
Who's Topher Grace?
Oh yeah, you could
that '70s show.
That's
Eric.
Yeah. He was Venom in Spider-Man 3.
Oh,
Take me home tonight?
No. I think I would want to see Topher Grace in this
so?
one.
I mean,
switch it out. Maybe. All right.
That's probably pretty good
Topher Grace in this as Venom? That's actually
Wait, Venom's in this movie now?
Yeah.
We were going to put Tom Hardy as the guy, but we got Venom now.
No, this is the first Venom.
Yeah, this is the first Venom. This is Spider-Man 3. We're going way off track, guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's our next movie for next week?
Yeah, so, speaking of Tom Hardy, speaking of, movies with brothers, apparently our lean is going to be that Dylan likes movies with brothers in them.
And Tom Hardy.
And he likes Tom Hardy.
I do like
Tom
Hardy.
I am going to go with Legend, which is Tom Hardy being his own brother. And I think it's going to be pretty fantastic. We'll see how it lands with everybody else.
Mason thought this would be fantastic, too.
Yeah, that's true.
I hope you don't await the same fate that I had.
Yeah, maybe
anyway, that's our show!
This whole set might just be duds landing.
Oh, man. We'll never return to this.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, make sure to tune in next week for our show. Hopefully we'll have audio still. Thank you.
Wait, military salute.
Military salute.
Which one's that one?
For the troops.
I mean, there's a few.
Yeah,